Hello everyone. If you don't know me already, my name is Rob Owen. This is one of our bigger videos, so here are some things we will be covering. Obviously, autism exposure therapy. Also, creative ways to cover costs for activities, tips for building resistance to sensory input, and our general experiences with becoming a hockey family, including a mini tour of the amazing Utah Mammoth training facility and Utah's first NHL playoff game. Yeah, there's a lot to cover, so be sure to grab some popcorn or whatever snack you want. This isn't our first video mentioning ice hockey or exposure therapy. While we've talked about this subject a little in the past, I want to do this subject some more justice as I feel it's really helped our boys get used to high sensory areas.
My first NHL game.
First NHL game? Yeah. What do you think of the arena? In addition, it has prevented nearly all sensory meltdowns from taking place when going out and about. If you have kids on the spectrum, you know that one of the holy grails of parenting is figuring out how to make visiting noisy and flashy public places a possibility. Shoot, even places that seem calm to neurotypical people can be overwhelming to someone on the spectrum. Now from the start, I want to mention that exposure therapy doesn't have to look like NHL hockey games. It can be any hobby or venue that involves lights and sounds like concerts, video game arcades, or laser tag, whatever works for you and your budget. Find an event or activity that you can take your loved ones to that will build up resistance to high sensory input over time. For our family, we found every person liked hockey, and that worked for us. Before I go too in-depth with exposure therapy, a special thanks to my family and friends for fueling our hockey addiction. My mother-in-law actually got us tickets to our first NHL game with these awesome seats. She got us the sweet merch too, which you can see the boys wearing. The game was the Utah Mammoths versus the Dallas Stars, and even though Utah lost by a goal that night, we all still loved the experience and ended up wanting more. I was really impressed with how Ian and Connor handled the noise and lights, but to be fair, they both had some prior experience at smaller hockey games in the past, which you already knew if you've watched some of our older videos. My dad also deserves a special thanks as he pretty much took care of all of our parking. He lives a few blocks away in Salt Lake City, so we can park at his place, and then he taxis us to and from games. Which is huge, by the way. If you know anything about event parking, it adds insult to injury when it comes to pricing. My dad also paid for a lot of dinners and treats for game nights. Because of his generosity, we got him a ticket to an amazing game against the Winnipeg Jets. The game was a tug-of-war of goals and couldn't have ended better, with the Mammoths winning. Amazing, huh?
That was amazing, Rob. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, and before I forget, the majority of the footage in this video was filmed from the nosebleed section of the arena because the cost of lower bowl tickets are an absolute joke nowadays. So, sorry if you see faraway views. One last thanks to my sister who went to a Hurricanes versus Mammoth game with me and got me this sweet hat. She likes hockey too now. I'm telling you, this sport is contagious. There's just something about the hockey players flying back and forth on the rink that's mesmerizing. Now, besides the generosity of family and friends, you may still be wondering how one can afford all of this. I'm going to go through this section rapid fire so I don't bore you to death, but the thing to keep in mind is, if there's a will, there's a way. Here we go. We use part of our tax return. Many parts of making this video are also tax deductible since this YouTube channel is a part side hustle. Our YouTube channel is monetized and that also helps to pay for a lot of these events. We refinanced our car payment at 1% lower and saved over $150 a month in payments. We sold some things on eBay. We ate a place down the road from the arena that offers free parking when my dad wasn't available. We found deals on tickets through our local grocery store. We used promo codes and sought out good deals. A lot of merch we got was free at games, especially during fan appreciation nights. We cut back on energy drinks since those add up over time and they're not good for us. We watch a lot of games at home via a cheap antenna hooked up to the TV. This also helped as a test to see how our kids reacted to the stimulus through the TV, even though it was a lot more intense at the game in person. We got preseason tickets when they were available, and these are actually about half to a quarter the cost of normal ticket prices. There's even more things we did to save on money, but that will do for now so we can keep this video moving along. Now, most of the footage you will see is at the Delta Center in Salt Lake City, with the exception of a weekend trip in Vegas, where we got hotel room prices at $11 a night, plus the resort fee. Again, hunt those deals. While in Vegas, we saw the Golden Knights play the Buffalo Sabres. More on that in a bit. But yeah, how cool is it that Salt Lake is the latest home for NHL hockey? They couldn't have picked a better spot in the snow and mountains. It's a pretty city, and if you're in our neck of the woods, I'd recommend dropping in on a Mammoth game. I've actually met quite a few travelers from out of state at the games, and they love their time in the city and surrounding areas. I've also heard rumors that Salt Lake City is working on getting a Major League Baseball team, but time will tell. Don't forget to visit the amazing mountains nearby, even if it's just for a relaxing drive. Tip 1. Watch for signs of sensory overload. Now for the meat and potatoes. In regards to exposure therapy, every person will react to sensory input differently, so be sure to watch for signs of an impending meltdown or other related issues. This can look different depending on the person on the spectrum, but general signs are rapid hand movements, grunting and clicking or other stress noises, lots of twitching, that kind of thing. This kind of exposure is not meant to torture your loved one, but build sensory strength over time. Even my youngest son, who actually loves high sensory input, can get overloaded. If your loved one gets fussy, find an escape route. Better yet, have one planned ahead of time. This tip will take some trial and error and lots of time. Tip 2. Bring sensory items, STEM toys, or go to places with sensory rooms. Fortunately for NHL hockey fans, a lot of arenas are somewhat sensory friendly, meaning they have sensory kits available, noise-canceling headphones, that kind of thing. The Delta Center has this dedicated sensory room, which is a fantastic idea. I will say, though, that after visiting it a couple of times, I realized that it's mainly catered to a younger audience. There are iPads in there and some segmented off cubicles where someone older can maybe rest in a quieter environment, but mostly it seemed like a place for ages 1 to 10. But the fact that it even exists at an arena makes me think things will improve for autistic individuals in the future. As for our kids, the most we've had to do at this point is bring headphones for Connor. But something I noticed at the T-Mobile Arena, one of the loudest arenas in the NHL, is Connor slowly stopped wearing headphones and got into the atmosphere as well as the game. And speaking of the Golden Knights and sensory issues, my gosh, let me count the ways you can get oversensitized. Besides the booming arena with its incredible light shows and displays, there's a pre-game show featuring Knights battling it out. They have cheerleaders roaming up and down the aisles. There's a drum line with Daft Punk-style gear, and sorry for the quality, it was shot from across the arena. They even have old-timey showgirls to distract the opposing team. Oh, and I almost forgot, they also have a fire-breathing dragon, so there's that too. Basically, this arena was built from the ground up to overwhelm the senses. So if you're going for exposure therapy, then look no further. It's also an exquisite hockey arena. I don't think I've been to a nicer sports center than this one. So if you're a sports fan, consider the trip. It's right off the I-15 off-ramp on the Vegas Strip. Tip 3. Find ways to get them invested in the activity. So let's switch gears now and briefly go over the importance of merchandise. As I stated earlier, a lot of our family got us merch to help us support the team, but it also did more. It gives sports fans a sense of ownership and belonging that makes them want to come back for more engagement. Alistair really took to this when I got him a little Tusky plushie, which is the Mammoth's mascot. He just loves the thing, and he keeps it next to my wife's Tusky on our room hockey's display shelf. He sees a parallel of a dad/son Tusky hockey team, just like me and him. So you got both Tuskies now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, it's so cute. Look, it's his little son.
The other boys love the logo and the way it looks when they wear the team colors. And as someone who works in marketing, let me tell you, a logo is everything. You probably already knew that, but in this context, it really draws you in psychologically to get behind supporting your team of choice. Me and my wife's favorite teams are the Mammoths and Golden Knights. I know of a lot of NHL purists that do not like the Knights, and I get that a lot of their success was on the business end of things, which arguably is a large part of the sport. But anyways, their logo and marketing was a gateway to my wife getting into hockey, so I'm cool with it. She loved their pre-shows and presentations, their sparkly jerseys and blingy merch. When I showed my sister their team, she also latched on right away. She loves the bling. The Golden Knights are so effective at marketing that many license plates in Las Vegas are adorned with the iconic V helmet logo. My boys, on the other hand, like the aggressive look of the Mammoth logo, and the Easter eggs in the design, like the tusk being a U for Utah and the M for Mammoth on the back of the head. Essentially, all of this adds up to our family wanting to be a part of the atmosphere, and that pushes us to more games, and consequently, more loud and flashy sensory exposure. The bigger the investment for the person with sensory issues, the bigger chance of success. Another thing we did to get our boys more invested is getting them started with street hockey. Initially, we went to Shields Sporting Goods to look at hockey equipment, and considering some of the hockey sticks there cost anywhere from $200 to $400, well, let's just say it was a short trip. We did, however, find some cheap NHL street sticks at Big 5 Sporting Goods for $20 a pop and some NHL balls for $10. So for $50 and some clothes hampers for nets, you can get a small game going. It's a lot of fun, and we even had the boys wear shirts from the Mammoths and Golden Knights to create a little bit more competitive spirit. Eventually, we'd like to get them to the rink to try hockey skates and maybe go from there, but this is where we are right now.
Nice goal, Connor.
I got it.
Tip 4. Build exposure over time, not all at once. A large element that's helpful in terms of sporting events is that it's more than just one game. Since everything in the NHL leads to the Stanley Cup, it's something to anticipate, to look forward to. Going to multiple games builds that resistance to sensory input until it becomes second nature. If it's not hockey you're using to build sensory immunity, then maybe figure out creative milestones to drive motivation in your loved one. Something that will make them want to come back for more, like a high score or a celebration of some kind. Tip 5. Small rewards can go a long way. Speaking of which, treats are also a great way to incentivize kids on the spectrum to stay in the event a bit longer. But be careful with too many sweets, as this can backfire if they get too hyper, of course. Popcorn is a good alternative and available at most sporting events. Also, if the treats at the event cost too much, consider a promised treat from a gas station or grocery store later on to keep them motivated. Alistair was on perfect behavior for his game at the Mammoths versus the Blues. The promise of a delicious churro just kept him going the whole time. It also preserved my sanity. A win-win. Tip 6. Get friends and family involved. There is another hidden effect of going to sporting or similar events that a lot of people take for granted. The sense of community and belonging to something is a great impetus to keep coming back for more. I've liked hockey ever since I was little. I even have an early Wayne Gretzky card from when I was a kid. But only recently have I fallen in love with hockey, and so has my family. I feel like I've created a little army of hockey fans, and I don't regret it one bit. More people are asking me to go to games. My dad didn't even care about hockey prior to making this video. Now he's asking when the next normal season starts up so he can take us to more hockey games. Well, you don't have to twist my arm. We also got to see some absolute legends on the ice. I mean, come on. There's Alex Ovechkin, who beat Gretzky's goal record to become the #1 goal scorer in NHL history. We were at a game where he performed a hat trick, which is super cool. We got to see Hollybuck on the ice, a goalie who in large part won the United States their 2026 Olympic gold medal. Then there's Connor McDavid for the Oilers, who many believe to be the greatest hockey player in the NHL right now. And of course, we love our Mammoth players, like our amazing goal sniper Dylan Gunther and our captain Clayton Keller, who also scored an Olympic gold medal. I'm also a big fan of Nick Schmaltz, who always seems to be in the right place at the right time. Now, after this large experiment with the help of our patient sons, we wanted to reward the family with a playoff game. And not just any playoff game, but Utah's first NHL playoff game in history. However, they said something that surprised my wife and I. They didn't want to see the Knights versus the Mammoth because they have seen both teams play already. Instead, they wanted to go to their favorite secondary teams in the upcoming normal season, and each of my sons picked some fantastic teams. Alistair picked the Colorado Avalanche, Connor picked the San Jose Sharks, and Ian picked the Minnesota Wild. My wife and I did make that playoff game our date night, however, and it was a fantastic experience, one that we will never forget.
Yeah, we won! We won! How cool is that?
4-2.
Yeah.
They tried to come back, but we beat them.
It was a fight, but we beat them. Oh, man.
So sweet.
That was probably like the best game we've ever seen.
The best.
Yeah,
And the
bar
fans,
none.
They were passing a flag on the bottom row. And
Fans went nuts. Well, us too, but there's like beer all over the place. It's insane.
As mentioned earlier, this was Utah's first NHL playoff game on home ice, and to have them win the game as well was just the cherry on top. My sister and her fiancé also went to the same game, as it was her birthday present, and it was fun to see their reactions. So far, this was the most amazing game of hockey we had ever seen. There's just something about playoff hockey, and that night was just a perfect night. Speaking of date nights, this kind of event is a great idea if you and your significant other are into sports. My wife and I saw our first in-person Mammoth win against the Nashville Predators prior to the playoffs, and it was such a blast.
Utah wins, baby! Yeah, we win! Woo! Win! Yeah, finally! Woo!
We beat the Nashville Predators.
Yeah.
Yeah, first win for me. Second win for Britt.
Okay, what was the score?
It was 4-1.
That's right.
Mammoth.
They squeaked one in on us, but we
They had
got
to
them.
ram the net to get it in.
Seriously.
Yeah,
How do
we
you
did.
feel about that?
Awesome. Great
Yeah?
game. Fantastic
Excited?
game.
Nice.
Oh, yeah. It's always good to win.
Now, before we go, we have a little treat for hockey fans, especially Mammoth fans. We went to their training facility not too far from where we live to check things out, and this was our experience.
That's really cool. And they got the rink back there. Look at that. You can see over there the playoffs are going. This is such a fun cultural thing, huh? And they have another rink over there.
That's what the team owner said. He was
What's
like,
that?
What a privilege to bring hockey to Utah, and Utah's really embraced it and has become like, you know, so supportive during the games, like really loud, and it's one thing.
We
that the
certainly
team-
have. We've embraced it. I mean,
Team knows.
your hat and
Yep.
Ian's. And
Well, and every time we've come to a
Merch.
game here,
Yeah.
we're loud.
look at
Loud and
that.
proud.
Baby mammoths.
They're youth mammoths.
What do you think, Ian? It's kind of fun here, huh?
It's really lovely. It makes you want to be a hockey player, just without the teeth loss.
Without the teeth.
Yeah, because you got braces. You don't want to lose your teeth.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Here it comes.
So yeah, I thought we did pretty good in the playoffs. Even though I'm not on the team, I can't skate and I'm a little overweight. But I thought we did pretty good. We had some good looks out there on the ice.
Whoa. I bet some cool stuff goes on back there. Look at all these sticks, Ian.
Yeah. I honestly want to hold one of them.
How's that feel?
Feels great.
Future hockey player right there.
Even if I didn't have bad knees.
That's all right.
Maybe if I had 2 surgeries, I already had 1 surgery, I'd be able to play hockey.
Actually, a lot of hockey players do have surgeries. They get injured all the time.
Oh.
I'm not saying that's the right course of action, but it happens. So Ian,
Yeah?
so check this out. Here's the locker rooms.
Wow.
It goes back there.
That's where all the visitors all go.
Yep. And there's going to be a team store later this year, sometime in the summer. And here's the team jerseys.
So that's about it. Through a few short years of sporting events, arcades, movies, and other high sensory events, our kids are now almost entirely used to high sensory areas. We haven't had a public sensory meltdown in years. And if you're a parent of autistic children, you know how huge of a win that is. This has been a fun video to make, and that's one of the key points. Make it fun for your loved ones so they will want to push through the high sensory activity. Again, thanks to our family and friends who helped make it possible, as well as all of you amazing subscribers and watchers who gave us a little extra spending money to make these things possible. See you all in the next video.
Holy cow.
Holy moly.